What's up, good people? I go by Complete Beats. So basically, letters, numbers, words, etc., you can type into AudioCipher, and then that will generate MIDI information. So what I did was I typed in that phrase, whispering and snoring, for the preset that I was originally going to start with. I set my root key at G, scale at minor, and then I dragged that information over, creates a MIDI file, and I dragged it over and I placed it right here in a track with another plugin that's free and very useful called Ripchord. Ripchord will take one key from a key that you play on your MIDI controller, transform it into a chord. So you see on the bottom keyboard, I pressed one key, I get a chord set within the key of the preset in Ripchord that I wanted to play. I have Ripchord routed over to my Arcus instrument. I have it routed there through Ableton, so whatever I play through Ripchord goes over there. So when I drag that information from AudioCipher, I'm dragging it here to my Ripchord track. So I ended up with this. But initially, when I started and dragged it over, you can see I got a 3-bar loop with MIDI notes in it that sounds like this. So all the information, the MIDI notes are playing right next to one another. So what I decided to do, I wanted those to stretch out because my sounds within my sound preset have a pretty big sustain on them. So what I did was I took the pattern I was given and I moved the notes out to about every half bar in the beginning of each bar as well. I also changed it to an 8-bar loop. So I kept doing that and pulled that out essentially until I got this. As you can see, 8-bar loop. I adjusted some things. I took a note that I felt sounded better when it was carried. I pulled it out, got rid of another note at the 7 and the 8. Ended up with I did the same thing when it came to getting my bass. I wanted to use the same phrase. I wanted to pull it out of AudioCipher, throw it in my bass instrument, which actually is a preset called Fundamental within the Reactor 6 from Native Instruments. And I pulled that information in there. So I probably started with something like this, yet again a 3-bar loop that I needed to change to 8. I began pulling that information out so that I can get a bass pattern that worked with what I was trying to do with my melody already. But initially these notes are going to be too high. You see that it sound too high, that can't, I'm not going to use that for a bass. I got rid of the higher notes in the register of the MIDI pattern that I dragged over from AudioCipher. I pulled them down to just below the C2 note. I think I got somewhere around down about C1 maybe. So it got pretty low. I pulled that down to comfort level until I could hear something that was going to work with the melody that I got. This. Melody and a bass line. AudioCipher is a great way to generate ideas and start your song, start your track. There's many other ways that you could apply it because you can use it with any MIDI rack or any VSTI instrument. Anything that takes MIDI information, you can get creative with it. It's a great jumping off point to go from those ideas and then start building your track upon that.